So, Dharav, you can record this, session so that in case you wish to re-go through the same, you can do that. So I'll
Yeah, I think I might. It'll be helpful, then I can track back and see if I need to
yeah,
look at
I
anything.
have given you permission to record it in your
Thank
local.
you so much.
Could you start the recording?
Yeah, the recording's already started.
Okay, great. Fine. So, sir, what I have done is I have got Dharav's responses and parents' responses in this printed format, right? And based on those responses, what I have done is I have put down my observations in a handwritten format like this. Right? So once I finish interaction, I will scan this entire document in a sequence and I will send it to you. The four parameters on which I have analyzed Dharav is on his orientation, aptitude, personality, and interest. Right. So what I will do is I will step by step explain you the complete brain map of Dharav at any point of time. If as a student or as a parent, you feel that my observation is not matching with what Dharav actually is, please let me know. I'll be pinpointedly able to pick up the response from where that observation has come. Post that, in case I need to deep probe the response, I will do that. And in case we need to change the observation, we will do that. Right. First, if I look at Dharav's orientation, my observation is that Dharav's practical orientation is highest, people orientation is a number 2, and academic orientation is number 3. This means if I give him 3 standalone tasks to perform, one, I tell him to go and play some tennis or go and play some football or do some gymming, which is a practical task. Second, I tell him to sit with people who are unknown or somebody who is relatively less known and talk or discuss or debate on some topic. And third, I tell him to maybe pick up few subjects of his academia related to maybe organic chemistry or biochemistry or thermodynamics and just read that or go through that subject. Out of the 3 given tasks, Dharv's first priority would be to pick up practical task and do it. As a second priority, he will get into interaction task, and he will get into academic task as his third or last priority. Do you agree to this, Dharv?
More or less, I would say. I think the interaction tasks,
It may
if
also come
not,
at number 1.
yeah, exactly. It depends back and forth. It's not that black and white for me. So
I can understand that.
yeah.
See, when it comes to known people interaction, in psychometry, that falls under practical application. So
Okay,
that is the reason your practical application is number 1.
I see.
But
I
the
see.
moment it is unknown or relatively less known people interaction, there I find you not to be a very strong initiator. So when it comes to interaction with unknown people, if somebody comes and approaches you, you will be comfortable talking. But you may not upfront go out and approach the person to talk, interact, or understand, or get into some conversation like that. So that is the only reason why I have put, your people inclination or orientation to be at number 2. Otherwise, if I look at your all 3 orientations are reasonably in a high a band zone, right? So do you agree to this,
Absolutely.
ma'am,
I
sir?
think
Sorry?
Do
you
you
guys
agree
agree?
to this as parents? You also feel that this observation is fairly matching?
Yeah. I would say yes.
Certainly. I think you are very close to on this part. As far as judging is, yes, that's what I feel. Yes.
We agree, yeah.
So this is what we call as orientation graph, or we also call it as a task prioritization graph. As a psychometrist, what I understand from the orientation graph or task prioritization graph in Dharv's case is that he should get into an area of profession or higher education where practical application, people interaction requirement is higher and academic oriented requirement is relatively less. If I send him to an area where hardcore academic application is as top priority requirement and practical application people interaction requirement is relatively less, he will burn out very fast in that kind of an environment. So he needs basically combination of all three, where academic application requirement is reasonably less. That is what I understand as a psychometrist from this. Having understood the orientation graph, or what we also call as the task prioritization graph, we move to the second step where we try to figure out the aptitude of the child. In Dharav's case, I find his aptitude high on, first is he's shown me comfort in basic numerics. If I look at 10th grade level, his comfort with the numbers, playing with the basic numbers, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, he is comfortable with. Wherever there was a reasonably elementary formula application on numbers, that is what we call as mathematics. He has also shown me comfort in mathematics. He's shown me comfort in physical sciences, that is physics, shown me comfort in chemistry. His knowledge absorption method is very logically understanding oriented or logically understanding driven. So generally there are two extreme kind of kids. One set of kids are kids whom we call our rote learners. So you give them a subject or a concept or a topic, they will not like to too much get into understanding it. They will simply mug it up. He's not somebody who really likes mugging up stuff without understanding. Second extreme category of kids are kids who would like to understand the things and then take them or absorb them before reproducing it in the exam. So those kids are kids whom we call our logically understanding oriented children. So I find Dharv to be a logically understanding oriented child. He has shown me reasonable comfort with read orientation. That is, he shows comfort in extra reading. Although he is not a voracious reader, but he shows comfort in extra reading. So read oriented he is. Watch oriented he is. A lot of things he learns or tries to learn by watching. So his watch orientation is high. His speak orientation is very good. So his participation in public speaking events or public debates, MUNs and all, he has shown me comfort with. Speak orientation is good. Also, he has shown me comfort with his artistic bent. Now, in artistic bent, there could be multiple domain areas. Could be drawing, painting, sketching, crafting, origami, clay modeling, sculpturing. Anything which comes in this is and falls under the artistic bent. He has shown me decent comfort with artistic bent. That is, he's creative in nature. He's given me comfort in sports bent. So he's sporty in nature. He's not a sports person, but sporty in nature. Given an opportunity to play some outdoor inbound sports, he's comfortable doing it. He's also shown me comfort with the digital bent. Digital bent is connected with photography, filmmaking, photo editing, film editing. Those things are digital bent. He's shown me comfort in that. I find him to be extremely good with interaction. So when it comes to sitting with people who are known, unknown, or debating on a concept or doing a group task or doing a academic task in a group, he feels very comfortable. He's very good at interaction. And overall, if I find this kind to be a very explorative child. Means whatever comes his way, he would like to experience, explore, understand, engage, experiment with the things. But here I also want to clarify that he is explorative, but he is not research oriented. So whatever he tries to consume, he tries to consume only up to the depth with which his work is taken care of. He does not go more deep into it. So we say such kids are more horizontal, less vertical in comparison to research oriented children who are too much vertical, maybe less horizontal at times. These are his high aptitude zone areas. In comparison to this, I find his aptitude relatively low. Relatively low aptitude areas are, first is theoretical, something which is too much theory driven. He is not very comfortable consuming it. His rote orientation is low. So wherever he has to mug up things without understanding, that is not something which he really enjoys. So his theoretical rote oriented bent is low. His linguistic bent is low. He has not shown me very strong comfort with any specific languages per se, be it English, Hindi, Sanskrit, Gujarati, whatever, whatever. Because his theoretical rote oriented bent is low, he has not shown me very strong connect with multiple areas connected with humanities and social sciences. He's not shown me good connect with the legal political bent. He's not shown me comfort with history, historical bent is low, geography, geographical bent is low. I also find his right orientation to be low. I don't see him engaging in extra writing at all, right? I find his performing bent to be low. I don't see him too much engaging in performing contains three kinds of arts: singing, dancing, acting. I don't see him engaging much into any one of these areas. So performing bent is low. I find his culinary bent to be low. I don't see him engaging too much into cooking, baking, chopping, although he has shown me inclination to get into it. But as on day, I don't find him high on culinary bent. His computer bent is low. I don't see him engaging too much into coding, programming, software development, software testing. And last but not the least, which I already explained you, I find him to be explorative, but his research bent is low. I don't see him too much involving in research. These are his relatively low aptitude zone areas. Now, in this Dharv, anything which you feel is a disconnect, please let me know.
I wouldn't say like a complete disconnect. I think you were on track with 90% of the things. Maybe just here and there on the lower aptitude, lower bends. I would say some of them I would still have an inclination, as you said, I still have an inclination towards, but not, my mind isn't set there. So with that respect, I think you're spot on.
Ma'am, anything you would like to feel or you feel as a parent, there is something which you feel there is a mismatch. I have put it in high zone, you feel he is low, or I have put it in low band zone, you feel at present he is high, because this brain map will give me his state of the mind as on day.
No, I agree with you. It's almost you are there.
We are there. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Maybe I can add
sir,
that I feel that with whatever exposure he has got on the lower, just while the rest is all fine, but probably he has some inclination towards performing, maybe dance, if I'm not wrong. Maybe I'm not
Dancing and even acting, I would say, more than dancing.
there is, see, an
It's a-
aptitude,
correct.
Yeah.
may lie in a low band zone because of one reason, that you never got an opportunity to get into it. There is a possibility.
Correct.
Now, why I can agree with both the things, performing also and culinary also, is because your practical orientation is lying at number one. Any child who is high on practical can or will show me comfort in five broad areas of practical application, which includes artistic bent, performing bent, culinary bent, digital bent, sports bent. Out of
Okay.
these five, in three broad areas, he's shown me comfort in high bent zone. So what happens is, I can give you a classic example. I am also very high on practical bent, right? Personally, if I'm talking. Now, I never ever had an opportunity to cook or bake or do anything related to things in the kitchen or things in the bar and so on. Recently, I'm 45. Some 6 7 years back, I happened to attend a evening get together where I saw a bartender performing beautiful methods of mixing different kinds of liquors and creating cocktails. From there, I got a knack, and today in my entire group, the type of cocktails which I make people just go gaga over it. And I have no formal training in it. So what happens is, fundamentally, if a brain is more practical oriented, he or she, given an exposure, may pick up comfort in these areas very fast. So I can very well understand, given an experience exposure in this area, you will pick it up very fast. But as on day, I do not see you practicing this in your regular routine.
Yeah.
That is the reason I have put it in low zone.
Yeah.
So I just have a quick question. As you said that I'm not a sports, I'm a sports oriented maybe, but not a sports person. So what would be the key
Sports
difference
person is
between?
very simple. Somebody who is eating, sleeping, drinking football. And his inclination day in and day out is that I want to get into football, without thinking, realizing, assessing how good he is on his or her skill. Where does this particular area take him or her to, without assessing that? If he's down the day just dreaming football, we say he's a sports person. He's not
Okay.
sporty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood. Yeah, I think that answers
So
it.
by your age, as I understand, Dhruv must be around 22, 23. That is what I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. By this age, you would have already taken nationals or internationals in a particular sport if you were a sports person. Yeah.
But a sports person could be, and you mean necessarily an athlete in that
No,
way?
not method. Any sport. It
As in,
could be
as in,
billiard. You are playing
as
so
in,
good
yeah, yeah,
billiard.
yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah, for
good
sure.
at billiard. Or maybe badminton, I think another thing which you have told me. Am I
Maybe
right?
other racket sports and tennis and stuff.
Huh?
Other racket sports like tennis. Yeah, I've picked
It
up
could be
quite a few.
anything.
Yeah,
It could
yeah,
be
yeah.
anything. Anything.
Okay.
Even for that matter, gymming, yoga, this also fall under sports mental.
Correct. So
Then I agree. Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Okay. So I have explained you two things till now. I have explained you your orientation. I have explained you your aptitude. Coming to the third bent, that is the personality of the child. As on day, I find Dharv to be practically more and academically less laborious. That means if I give you any task which is more practical, self bodily engaging, you're more comfortable spending time in those areas. But if I tell you to sit with a book or sit with a research project and spend a lot of time in academia, that is not something which you're very comfortable, happy with, right? So that is your
Definitely.
personality as on day.
Yeah.
Looking at your interest application as on day, I find your interest application low or lacking towards social sciences, computers, sciences, languages, performing arts, culinary arts, and research. Whereas I find you more inclined towards interaction, teamwork and team play, practical, skill based, explorative, and people management bent.
I see.
Right? So in the
Okay. Yeah.
concluding paragraph, what I have written, looking at the current brain map, I find him not rightly fitting research and specifically scientific research kind of an area. You're in a wrong field. You're not a research kid. And what you're doing is a B.Sc chemistry, which is research oriented. You are a child who is more practical, more people engagement oriented. Research में तो practical एक certain level पे is there, but more is academic. So what I have written is, he is more fit to get into an area where he can get into people management, and which is more practical and relatively less academically extensive. So the areas which I have defined for you is, I suggest him to go for higher studies in areas like public relations, international relations, event management, human resource management kind of masters. So basically, in management, you do 5 kinds of management. You are comfortable, you will be fitting, or you'll feel comfortable in doing all 5 kinds of managements. That is marketing management. You're good at interaction, you're good at talking, you're good at conversing. Second is financial management. I find your fundamental numerics, mathematics to be good. Unfortunately, fortunately, for whatever given reasons of your background, you have potentially not studied mathematics in last 4 or 5 years. But that does not make you uncomfortable with quantitative ability. Your ability in quantitative mathematics is good. Third area is human resource management, which you are anyways very good with, right? Fourth area is information technology management. You are not a child who is right fit for coding, but whatever is being delivered to you after coding, you are
I
a
see.
candidate who can observe, understand, engage with it, and ask your coder to do the requisite changes because it does not satisfy your customer's need or your personal need or your look and feel as a buyer of the software or a user of the software. And fifth thing is systems and operations management. So any business, anything which works has a system or a process in place through which it works. For example, when you approached me for counseling, so there was a process which you followed. So first you called up, Aishwarya gave you the details. Then she took you through a case history capturing. Then she sent you certain psychometric questions for subjective responses. Then all those things came on my desk. Then I peacefully, with a cool mind, sat, went through every bit of what you have sent me. Based on that, I put down my observations. And now, in the finale of this entire process, I'm sitting with you one on one on counseling. This is a process. Same way, every business, every service takes you through a process. So you are a person who can either analyze, understand, or create processes for smoother functioning of the things. These are 5 things which come in any business management program. But what I understand currently, you are in Netherlands, right? And if I look at any very good college at international level, they may not accept a fresher in a business management kind of a course. There could be few countries which accept, because my personally, my awareness or my forte is more towards identifying the type of higher education academia which a candidate should go through based on your orientation, aptitude, personality, interest. And I am reasonably aware of institutions and their requirements in India. So I'm not having very good understanding of international institutions. So for that, what little I understand is, if you tomorrow walk into Harvard or Stanford or Kellogg's or Oxford or King's College and say, I want to do an MBA. MBA is Masters of Business Administration or Masters of Business Management, MBM. They will not take a fresher. They would expect you to have at least 24 to at least 36 to 72 months of work experience. That means 3 to 6 years of work experience, right? So what is the option? Normally, people who go for very good higher management programs, they, after graduation, take up a job, spend 3 to 4 years in that job, then appear for the national level competitive exams or international competitive exams like GRE, GMAT. Based on that, then go for a 1 year MBA program in a great university. That is the process which is generally followed. But in case straight away after bachelor's, you want to finish your master's and then once and for all get into a kind of job engagement or a business engagement or a consultation engagement, in that case, what options you will get is you can pick up any one of these 5 domains which I shared with you in within management. So within that, I have told you, get into an area where human interaction and human resource management comes your way as the primary skill and subject. So in that, in India, if you look at, we have XLRI in Jamshedpur, which is supposed to be the best institution for human resource management. Otherwise, then you can give CAT exam in India and get into any of the IIMs, get into any of the top institutions like SP Jain, MDI, IMT, Ghaziabad, Ford School of Management, IMI Delhi, FMS, and so on and so forth. These are the institutions which will take you as a fresher into any of the management program. But here again, my little bit of inhibition is looking at your past grades. Don't mind my words, but they are not very great grades. And because they are not very great grades, and Indian, okay, let me before that check. Are you an Indian passport holder?
Yes.
And parents are settled in India?
We are also Indian passport holders. We are working here as on an employment pass.
Okay.
Means, my company has sponsored my pass to live and work outside India.
In Netherlands.
In Singapore. We are in
We are
Singapore.
in Singapore.
You are in Singapore. Okay.
Yeah.
So in that case, another option which he has is that you can come back and join any one of these institutions as an NRI candidate. Because your parents are both NRIs. You are also currently pursuing your bachelor's abroad. So only issue is that as an NRI candidate, he might require to pay maybe 3 times the fees of a regular candidate in India. So I think here, the way you should go ahead with is, if Dharav is reasonably comfortable and inclined towards settling abroad only, then he should pursue his 1-year master's in international relations, human resource management kind of a program in a reasonably decent university, maybe in Netherlands. Maybe you can go to London, maybe you can go to Cardiff, depending upon, whatever your foreign consultant would guide you, because I may not be the right person to guide you for that. And after you finish your masters, you get a opportunity to settle in that particular country. But if you are very sure that you want to come back to India and settle back in India itself, then I would suggest pick up a job after your bachelor's, do that job for 2 to 3 years. After that, appear for GMAT as an exam and go for a 1-year executive MBA program in either a good IIM or a place like ISB Hyderabad or MDI or Great Lakes, any of the good institution in India. That will give you a beautiful settling environment where your both opportunities will be open. You can settle back in India also, and you can settle in any of the country depending upon where you get placement in a foreign nation or a foreign land.
All right, I think that's a good direction to head in. At least we know our options and the doors that are open for me, at least.
And don't go for masters in sciences. You're not a science kid.
Okay.
Don't go for masters in sciences.
Understood.
So we haven't closed any option. I mean, especially the option of studying in India. I think some time back, you only mentioned there, right, about looking at options of pursuing
India.
master or
Definitely.
going back to India. I mean, we are open. We have we are. I mean, I'm working here, but doesn't mean that I'm going to be here for the rest of my life and retire. Once we are through with our job, of course, we will be coming back. We'll be coming back to Ahmedabad. Dharav has been given the platform to choose whatever he wants, he likes. No pressure on him to be outside India all the time, or for that matter, be in India only, kind of thing. We are quite open from that perspective. So, looking at the option to continue further studies, as you mentioned about, those management where he has, he uses his skill of practical approach and managerial abilities to study further. That certainly has, it's good. I mean, it's something that, we were like expecting to hear what we should do, what course he should pursue, or even if he's interested in work, maybe work for some time and then pursue.
Correct. Because I see that even if you look at, in your entire response sheet, which I have got, I see your strong inclination even towards things like finance.
Maybe like a different
Because,
side of finance, maybe, yeah, for sure.
yeah, but because for last 4 years, you never got an opportunity to interact with maths, numerics, analytics. So that thing is lying hidden somewhere at the back end. And what I understand from your brain map, you were not bad in maths.
Yeah, that's true. I just never cared enough about maths.
You were not bad at maths. That is what I can understand from his brain map. Only thing is that maybe, like one response which you have given is that you would have loved to study economics, but because there was no option to study both economics and chemistry.
Yeah,
You got stuck. You took up chemistry.
yeah.
But at that point of time, honestly speaking, what I would have done, looking at your background, I would have told you chemistry, keep reading as a hobby. Take up economics. Because the moment I'm looking at higher chemistry or higher sciences for that matter, primarily my very strong inclination has to be with towards research, and my academic application has to be highest. If practical is there or not does not matter, people interaction is there or not does not matter.
So to be honest with you, and actually we have started realizing this part, of in the last few years, I would say, or last 1 or 2 years, that yes, Dharav's orientation is different, not towards deep research or deep academics. So we kind of, I would say, yes, maybe we went not in the right direction at that
That's
time.
okay. That's okay, sir. Till bachelor's, it's not worrisome. Worrisome is if somebody does a super specialization in a wrong area. That is a worrisome case. Till bachelor's, it's okay. I don't know whether you know my background or not, and I don't know from where you got my reference. My parents are both doctors, right? And in my family we are 16 cousins. Out of them, 14 are super specialist doctors, right? So my parents asked me, what do you want to do? I said, I will become a driver, but I will not become a doctor.
Same here. My parents were doctors, and I chose not to become a doctor.
Yeah. So they told me, fine, if you don't want to become a doctor, become an engineer. So I got onto science, did 4 years of my B.Tech, don't know why. In final year, I asked one of my professors, I said, sir, what should I do next? You do M.Tech. I joined M.Tech structures, and I did M.Tech structures from IIT Delhi, where, one of the professor who was teaching me for last 6 years came to me and said, Mohit, technology is not the right education for you. I said, sir, wow, what next? He says, you should do management. Then I came to management, did my MBA. And today, 100% of my work, which I'm doing, is of a psychologist, which I have no formal education in. So that's okay. Graduation level is exploration, nothing to worry.
How do you feel? I mean, this is my assumption. How do you feel the overall fitment for courses like psychology, social sciences?
Sir, they are academic oriented courses, need a lot of sitting. He has to sit down at one place and just work with individuals. He is more of an outgoing kind of a character.
Yeah, Dad, don't make me sit.
He's not a sitting kind of a person. I mean, tomorrow, if I send him, I read he has shown me good inclination towards psychology, but I also understand that is coming from his comfort with interpersonal skill, because he's good with interaction with people. But on that front, if I tell him to sit on a chair for 8 hours, 10 hours in a day and keep interacting with people across the table one-on-one or giving therapies, is not he kind of a person.
I'll need therapy after that.
Come again?
After those 8 or 10 hours, I'll need therapy.
So he's not that kind. Social sciences is not his forte. And I tell you another frank opinion. Being an international and Cambridge board, he was saved because his inclination was more logical, mathematical, analytical, physical, chemistry oriented. That is the reason he is saved till now. If it would have been more social sciences, humanities oriented, and he would have gone through on this path till here, by this time he would have ruined himself. Because unfortunately, what these international boards do is they take away your humanities, social sciences right after grade 8. But anyways, since he was not too much inclined towards that, and today also I don't see that inclination, so that's okay. There's nothing wrong which has happened.
I see.
You mentioned briefly something about analytics, and it's a closed door that I could explore. Does this analytics, could it be restricted to any particular field, or analytics in
anything? Business analytics.
Okay.
Anybody who analyzes business on various parameters, including all 5 domains which I have told you, is analytics.
Now,
Normally, a lot of people connect analytics only with the maths. But analysis is not just about numbers. Yes, numbers make analysis a very logical process.
a comparable standard.
Comparable process. Perfect.
Okay. Because so until recently, I didn't know much. I mean, I knew just on surface level, but not too much about sports analytics.
Yes.
And until a couple of weeks ago, I started reading more into it. And I think, so I just wanted to know what, if that would be a good suit for me.
Perfectly fine. There is no problem in that.
Okay.
Because your inclination with sports is high.
But not in the like the sportsman kind of way.
Any
Just
sport.
Inclination.
Inclination is where I enjoy being in that environment. Now, whether I am a referee, whether I am a sports enthusiast, whether I am a sports person, whether I am a player, whether I am a commentator, whether I am a sports critique, pointer is I love or I'm comfortable being in that environment.
Absolutely, for sure.
So in master's level, the moment I'm talking about the word event management, even sports management is a area, and sports analytics is a subject within the domain of sports management.
I see.
You can see. Because ultimately, when you are managing something, most important or most, I would say, fundamental thing which you are managing is people. Even if you're doing marketing, at the end of the day, you're managing the team which is doing on-ground work, because you lifelong will not be doing on-ground work.
I'll be managing on the background.
So ultimately, any management area will boil down to people management.
I see.
You'll start with marketing yourself, you'll start with managing yourself, but I mean, ultimately you will move up and start
managing people. A finance head of a company or a CEO of the company or COO or CTO, they actually, if you very carefully understand their profile, they are not doing anything within that area. They are managing people. They are all very good people managers.
Yes. That's true.
If you have knowledge within that area, then obviously down the line you will be able to manage people better.
I see. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, off late, Dharav, you had some idea about analysts being an analyst, or basically a strategy.
He can do it. Business, these are all areas of business management. So whether it is strategic business management or business analytics, these are all areas of management. In broad sense, I will say management.
Yeah, Dharav came out with something which we were also quite surprised that there are courses around sports which take you through the grooming of how to become a analyst or strategist
Yes.
by watching
See,
games.
there are sports psychologists,
Yeah,
there are
yeah.
sports nutritionists,
Yeah.
there are sports physiotherapists, there are these I'm forgetting the exact this thing. So within the domain of sports, there are a lot of kind of support people to a single sports person. These all people come in that vicinity. But then fundamentally, you need to enjoy sports. If you don't enjoy that, then down the line will start becoming a burden.
No, definitely. As you said, sports in any form I enjoy. 100%.
But is there any opportunity he can take for masters in sports or
Yes, there are
after
two.
this, after doing this
Oh
UG?
yes, any child after any 12th can get into a bachelor's in the area of sports, and any child after any bachelor's can do masters in the area of sports.
Oh, that is good.
Okay, that's good.
So there is a MSc in sports management available in Swarnim Startup Sports University in Gandhinagar, Gujarat.
We've seen that on the way, Papa. We've seen that university from Ahmedabad Gandhinagar Highway.
We have a house.
We are from Gandhinagar.
So they have a beautiful master's program, MSc program.
Done deal.
Now that you mentioned it, I wouldn't mind, it's going. See, I never said going back to India was off the table. I really would not mind going back.
And I tell you another thing, Tarab.
Yes.
India is becoming a next hub of sports.
Definitely.
2036, we are hosting Olympics.
I've
And
already.
any child
Yeah.
who gets into an area of sports at this age, you will not need to look back for next 40 years.
Definitely, because I've even looked at the revenues that Indian leagues generate. It's one of the top 10 easily
Badly.
in the world.
Yes. Right. So, sir, what I will do is I will scan this entire stuff. I will ask Aishwarya to send it to you. I will share my personal number with you. You can copy it down. It's 9979 266 166.
166.
So in case you have any query, post-counseling question, just punch across a WhatsApp to me. But in that, please do write, I am Dharav Chitania. I had taken a career counseling with you. Please allow me to ask few queries. Just put across your queries. Because if you will not write this line that I had taken a career counseling from you, I will not be able to place you that which kid is asking me what question from which part of the world. Right?
Logic.
Because since my number is there, a lot of people, I keep getting a lot of unknown SMSs and WhatsApps every day. So do write this line. This line will immediately attract me. I will be able to recall you. And in case there is any query, I will revert to you.
9979 266 166.
Perfect.
So, sir, we kind of course, we are all here as a family. You have a lot of insight about us and Dharav. Do you get these kind of students, such sessions normally? I mean, what happens to children? Of course, at this age, in this situation, just curious as a parent,
Very frequently, sir. Very, very frequently. Yesterday, I think, definitely the larger chunk of kids coming for counseling to me are kids who are in grade 9, 10, 11, 12. But if I look at college level, this counseling is what we call as college level counseling, where kids are not very sure whether the current course which they are pursuing is right for them or not. or if they have to pick up certain elective subjects in their final pre-final year, they are not sure which elective subjects they should pick up, or if they are on the verge of completing their bachelor's, they are not very sure what masters they should go with. And even kids who are in masters, they are not very sure which domain or the column or the vertical industry they should get into. So these kind of counselings are there, very common. Absolutely, to give you a very small thing, the previous chief secretary of Gujarat, Dr. Pankaj Kumar, he has got 3 kids. 2 of them are professionals, one of the kid is a college. I did counseling for them last month for all 3 kids. 2 elder ones are both professionals. They have finished their bachelor's, masters 7 years back, and now they are in their professions. And the youngest daughter has just finished her bachelor's from Australia and was struggling to figure out masters. So nothing to worry. I mean, we are not late by any way to take a corrective measure.
I think that does give a little short sigh of relief. Because,
But a little bit of research you will need to do. So 2 things I will do, rather one, so let me finish it off only. I'm just sending you a literature related to sports.
sure.
But this
Please.
literature is primarily going to focus on bachelor's programs, because
Okay.
major literatures which I make is for bachelor's program. But
That's
since I have given you the universities and their websites, you can go there and check out which universities or colleges have master's programs aligned, right? So you can simply look at that, look at what kind of masters are there, what are their syllabuses, what are the course curriculum, and based on that, if that suits your taste, you can go ahead with it. I have just shared it with you, you can download it.
Yes.
Sports and physical education, right? So this is one, this will give you a lot of insight about India. Also, let me also give you a management literature. So I've sent you another literature related to business management. Go through this. In case you have any queries, you can feel free, connect with me.
Marketing.
Sure.
Yeah, he's interested in finance. Right? Last year only he showed the interest in finance.
He showed. I also.
Yeah. That's why we gave him some one stock list and asked him to study and guide us.
No, he will do good with that because his analysis is good.
Yeah. That time he told us few things. You do this. Then he left. Right? He started reading a book. Right? Remember?
I still have the book.
Still, yeah, you still have the book, but you
I'll have
haven't
it.
just finished.
I'll just have the book.
Right.
Okay.
Sir, anything else? Ma'am, anything else?
Not really at this moment.
So 2 literatures I've sent you. My personal number is there with you. This
we go through the link you have sent for the studies, universities, and all.
Yes, peacefully. But that contains, I think, a lot of detail related to Indian education in the area of sports and management. So that I have sent you. And this literature, I will send it to you. Just go through the, brain map also. If there are any queries, please feel free, connect back with me.
Sure.
All
Right, Dharam?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure, ma'am. Thank you. Good to you.